Hey, welcome back to my nightmare. So, got the Trailblazer in the shop, obviously. My wife said that it was making a lot of noise and riding like crap. So, Warden's out there. Anyway, she pulled it in. I looked at it, and the rear end was like all the way down on the ground, basically. So Trailblazers have, I don't know if all of them do, but Super Sports, I know other models do, have rear air springs. It's got an onboard compressor and basically like a load leveling kind of deal. I'm guessing with the Super Sport, it's for more like track, like racing shit. Anyway, I'm not gonna replace all that crap because the new compressor is like $500, and I don't want to. I think it's just a sensor. There's an airline that's actually got a rub through where it rubbed on the frame, so that's where my leak is coming from. It's for the driver's side. But if that's bad, then and the airbags are getting dry rotted, so I'm getting rid of that. The airbags are not actually that expensive, and neither are the shocks or the sensors. Probably would have been cheaper just to do that route, but then I would have had to replace the airline or patch it, which then I got to worry about it freaking leaking again, and then I got to worry about that freaking rusted out freaking air pump not working, and then spending $500. So I went to Rock Auto. I like them better than any other parts lookup place because you can put in, I put in Trailblazer and Super Sport, and then it comes up with conversion kit. And at Rock Auto it was like $250. Actually, that price went down. Damn it, I should have went with them. Anyway, then I just Googled it, and then Parts Geek came up, and I got one for like $200. So it comes with the coil springs, the rubber bushings for it, and new shocks. And they're Monroe shocks, so I'm like, oh well, those are good. Well, and it was for Trailblazer Super Sport. Well, I get the shit, and I don't know if you can read this. Right there where my thinner is. Exclude with 6-liter. Excludes all with 6-liter. Well, Parts Geek, you guys can kiss my fat. I was looking up for a Trailblazer Super Sport. Every Trailblazer Super Sport has a. I would have put this in anyway, and if they fly out, I'm going to call you guys up and, I don't know, maybe have a lawsuit on my hands because you guys. Sorry about the rant. It's different than a wedding, you know what. Alright. Time to go to town. Alright, gotta take the tires off. Alright, right now I got the Trailblazer up, obviously, tires off, and I'm taking the shocks off so I can drop it off. I already got the passenger side airbag out. There's a little tab on them that you're supposed to kick down. I don't know. It's retarded. I got it out. It's out. But the new springs are longer, so I got to get the rear end down further. So right now I'm going to take I got a jack underneath the differential here, and then take the shock out. If you're going to do this on a Trailblazer Super Sport, you got to make sure that you loosen off your brake line here. There's a clip for your brake line right here. If you let it drop too far, you're going to rip your brake line right out. So I'm going to take that out right quick and then get the shock out of the way and then drop this thing down, and hopefully this gives us enough room to get these springs in. Or maybe that's the reason why they're not made for freaking super sports. Three-quarter inch wrench, three-quarter inch socket. Choose someplace I'll forget. Stock shocks. They had life left back in them, but they're pretty crusty. So, she ain't no spring chicken. Alright. Now, hopefully this drops down far enough. Thing I forgot is these sensors. That sensor off of there. You better believe I'm going to give it a spritz of some engine paint when I'm down here. Alright, let's see if she goes down there. Come on, be the ball. Junk. Alright, got the passenger side spring in. So they don't have rubber isolators on both ends, it's just on the top with this kit. But, I mean, maybe this isn't made for a super sport. I don't know. It just sits on... I'll get you down here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a coil spring. Alright. Now, see, it just sits on that spring perch. It goes up into there, and there's a rubber isolator up in there. And here's the spring perch I'm talking about. And then up in there. And there's the brake lines. Here's the sensor for them, the ride height sensor. I was just going to remove these. I still might. Just that pigtail there. And get these off the frame and out of the way. But see, this is why this would have been stretched out. It would have snapped the brake line off if I would have let it down with that. So, all right, I'm going to get the other one in and then start jacking the rear end up and get the shocks put back in. So let's use a smaller end to put on the top. To be honest with you, these coils look like they're the same. It looks the same. I don't get what smaller means. Whatever. I guess that is bigger. Whatever. That's right. Sneak you up in here. Oh, you stay on there now. Perfect. Stay. There we go. Got you in there. Go right like that. Sure scraping your paint. This thing looks like a giant jacked up rear end now. She's in there.
Aren't shocks super dangerous?
Springs are. Coil springs are.
Okay, like right now, what you're doing is making me nervous. Should I be nervous?
I don't know. Should be. Get in there.
Hey, before you go digging into anything else, I called my mom. She said she'd be happy to help me next weekend. We're gonna have dinner with them. Okay? Alright, I love you. I'll leave you alone.
Alright, here's my Manro shocks. OE Spectrum whatevers. Oh, better hurry up, start rain. Fred's out there naked. There you go. That's not how you go, you retard. All right, I use the full jack the rear end up so I get the shock put back in place. You can do that now. They're not that stiff. It didn't start lifting the whole car off the lift like when we did the coil springs on my Chevelle, so that's good. There's a little more for this side apparently. Going the right way. Yeah. Pretty freaking close. There we go. Got it. Alright, tighten these son bitches down. See how it looks. Hey, want to mess up with this paint job?
All right, don't forget to reclip the brake line back onto the frame. First coat of paint. Got it. All right. Tires back on. Take these off the next venture. All right, got the rear tires back on. I'm gonna get the Trailblazer lowered down and then see what the ride height looks like. I'm an idiot. I didn't show you what it looked like before, but it was like the wheel was like that close to the freaking panel. So it was on the bump stops. There's plenty of videos out there, guys, doing this with Trailblazers and Envoys and stuff. And it looked like, though, it was blowing out freaking airbags. So I'm going to get it down and see what it looks like. It's probably going to be like this now. All right. It says that they'll settle out. I'm sure they will, but she's sitting a little high. All right, here's the front. So yeah, she's a little bit high. That's all right though. That'll be better. It's made for towing now, stiffer springs. Well, that's done. That'll do it for the old Perkins garage and this piece of shit Trailblazer. So I'm gonna get shit moved back around. I am gonna. Oh, before I do anything and start it up, I got to take the relay out for the compressor so it doesn't decide to just grenade itself, and then start it up and get the hell out of here so I get Fred back in here before it gets rained on. All right, check later.